How you going, guys? I've got a bit to cover in this video, so I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. This video is basically about Leo Gura's awakening versus the awakening claims of Advaita Vedanta, traditional teachings. And just a bit of context, just a bit of a backstory. Why have I made several videos about Leo Gura? I did not intend to do this. I intended to make one, possibly two, but I've made several more. Because this video is inspired by a subscriber's email. We've been emailing back and forth regarding awakening and Leo Gura. But why did I even start talking about Leo Gura to begin with? Because I like to be very active in my comment section. I like to interact with my subscribers. And I got to talking with one of them. His name's Johnny. We got to talking and he mentioned to me, have you ever heard of Leo Gura? And I said, no, I haven't. And this guy is very big. The reason I probably didn't hear of him because my mind was so focused on studying traditional teachings of Buddhism and Advaita Vedanta. So he didn't come up on my radar. But in any case, I did look him up. Over 1.1 million subscribers. I ended up clicking on a video talking about a deleted video. He made a video about solipsism and then deleted it. So I was watching that video. That was my first impressions of Leo. And in that video, he was talking about his awakening, which I'll get into a bit more detail later. But that was my first impression. And then I made a commentary, a reaction video to what he was saying in that video. And then that led to other videos and then people commenting in my comment section about Leo or emailing me about Leo. And that's what led to more videos about solipsism and all that kind of stuff. But again, I'll get into that in a moment. First, let me just show you a few snippets of an email conversation back and forth. We've had probably 30, but let me just give you the essence of what's happening. Let's read through these emails. And don't worry, the person that sent this is anonymous. You won't see their name. For privacy reasons, I'm not going to mention their name. Just in case. I'm going to go through three. Here's one. Okay, when it comes to these spiritual teachings, you really don't know who has the highest knowledge. Basically, they're saying, the person that emailed me this is saying, look, I've heard of Advaita Vedanta, non-duality, and then I've heard of Leo talk about his awakening. Who knows who's got the truth? Advaita Vedanta saying they've got the truth. Leo has said he's got the truth. So they're saying, when it comes to these spiritual teachings, you don't really know who has the highest knowledge. There's Advaita Vedanta saying that they've realized the highest ultimate truth. Then there's Leo Gura saying that no teachings are teaching truth. He seems to say that he has new knowledge that transcends Advaita Vedanta. Transcends Advaita Vedanta. Then you told me that nothing transcends Advaita Vedanta. And there's a reason for that, which I'll get into a bit later. He goes on, then in one of your videos, my videos, you said we can't know our source. But Advaita says that you can know and realize the source. Is it paradoxical? Spoiler alert, yes. You can realize and know ultimate reality, but you can't know it at the same time. I'll get into detail in that a bit later. Another snippet of the email. I don't have anything personal against him, Leo. He's got nothing against him. Neither do I, by the way. But he's caused, I'm altering this now, he's caused people to end the show early before, if you know what I'm saying. Checking out of life early. There are people contemplating checking out of life early because of him. Leo said himself in his forum, Leo's forum, that for people wanting to end the show early, in his name, to his name, isn't a bad rate when it comes to watching his content. He's saying people watching his stuff, if they want to end the show early of life, 4 out of however many people watch, that's not a bad hit rate, is it? Look, I can't confirm what was said in this forum, but that's what they told me. And if that's true, really, come on. Final snippet of the email. I feel I can't see Vedanta or Rupert Spira teachings the same way anymore after Leo undermines them. I don't believe Leo is being egotistical. I think he genuinely feels that way. Leo probably did transcend all teachings. He probably does have new special fundamental knowledge. It's a hard pill to swallow. So the general vibe of the email is this person is a spiritual seeker. They've heard teachings of non-duality, it's the ultimate truth. Then they've watched videos of Leo saying he's got the ultimate truth, that all spiritual teachings are nonsense, that no one's enlightened but him, all that kind of speak. And they're kind of battling with themselves. They've also said in other parts of the email, perhaps this Leo Gura stuff, they want to stay away from. It's mentally disturbing them. But he has other good videos on other topics. And exactly, the people that kind of weren't happy with me with my original Leo Gura video, this is what I want to say. I do not hate anyone. I just dislike certain teachings. So Leo as a whole, he would have a lot of useful teachings that have helped a lot of people. I'm just saying that particular teachings of solipsism and that he's awoken and no one's awake but him, that is not healthy. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure he's a very decent guy in real life. See, that's the problem with internet. It's all about extremes. In real life, generally people are reasonable, pleasant to be around. Generally, just the average person. But people think if you don't like one thing they say, you hate the person and then they don't like you. So this is just the nature of the internet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly talk about what Leo Gura talked about in that 1 hour video I watched. I'll also link it in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. I encourage you to do that. I'll just give you a brief summary of what he said. Then I'm going to show you a clip of a well-known respected monk in Advaita Vedanta from the Sri Ramakrishna order, Swami Sarvapriyananda. If you're serious about Advaita Vedanta, check out his work. I love this monk. He's such a blessing to YouTube. Before he came onto the scene, it was so much harder. There was so much scrounging around for knowledge and information. It was so much harder. This man is a blessing. Beautiful. I'll show you a clip of him talking about what enlightenment is, according to Advaita Vedanta. But just quickly, let me give you a summary of Leo Gura's video, which I'll link in the description. The first 37 minutes of this video, he's talking about how he uploaded the video of solipsism, then he took it down. The reason he took it down is because he's scared it can cause people mental disturbance, which it has. People have told me that personally. He's worried that he's speaking the highest knowledge, people aren't ready for it. Anyone can access these videos and knowledge. Even if he puts it behind a paywall, people could just pay and get the knowledge and freak out. He's basically saying he's realized the highest truth and he doesn't know how to teach it moving forward. How am I going to teach this? How can I talk about this in a responsible way? That's basically the gist of the first 37 minutes, amongst other things. The final 37 minutes, he goes into his awakening experience. He says, I have realized an awakening that is greater than all other awakenings. He has realized he is God. Only he is awake. It's so transcendent. He knows how he's consciously creating reality. He knows how he's consciously creating his parents. He knows how he's consciously constructing the music he listens to, the scientific reasons for the music sounding how it does. He's basically transcended all knowledge. He's also said all spiritual teachings are a waste of time. No one's awake but him. Your teachers teaching you this stuff aren't awake. All the spiritual practice you're doing is a waste of time. He's even saying, just say you think, yeah, Leo, I agree. I'm on the same page as you. He's saying, no, you think you're awake, you're not. You're deluding yourself. Only I'm awake, you're not. So even if you think you're on the same page as him, no, you're not awake, only he's awake. And then he says, you might think my ego's gone into superdrive, that everything I'm saying is just my ego talking. He's saying, well, it's not, but if you believe that, I can't stop you from thinking that. Then he says, if you don't agree with me, you're going to try to argue against what I'm saying. Then you're going to leave the forum. Then you're going to form groups with other like-minded people where you're going to talk about how I'm wrong. It's basically, here's my impression. He said he's the only one that's awake. He's insulated himself where you can't criticize him. You can't even say, yeah, Leo, I'm on the same level, because he's saying, no, you're not. What I'm saying is, this was my first impression of Leo, by the way. I'm sure he sounds more reasonable in regular videos. My impression of him was, he says he's got the highest truth. Even if you think you know it, you don't know it. If you criticize him, you're wrong. It's like he says he's got the truth. Believe him. He says, I can't prove this to you, but believe him, and if you think he's wrong, you're wrong. That's the vibe I got. And me, in my initial videos on Leo, I said, he doesn't sound very loving, because what am I used to? This was my first impression of him. I'm used to teachers that are very humble, that are meeting you where you're at, saying, here, I can see where you're struggling. Let's help you out. Let's lift you up gradually. I'm used to that type of guru. A lot of humility and not claiming big things about themselves. So basically that was Leo's interpretation of enlightenment. He's realized he's God. He's consciously creating reality. Only he's awake. You're not awake, even if you think you're awake. If you don't believe him, you're wrong. That kind of vibe. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? So that's Leo Gura's interpretation. 1 hour video in the description. From 37 minutes on, you'll see his full awakening realization. I encourage you to watch it. Now let's listen to traditional teachings from Swami Sarvapriyananda. What awakening is all about under traditional teachings. You'll see it here.
All right. Here is the wonderful thing. After becoming enlightened, what will happen? What will disappear and what will not disappear? What will disappear? The identification of self with the not self will forever disappear. You will never ever mistake the body mind for yourself. You will always effortlessly be very clear that you are this immortal, limitless one existence, consciousness, bliss. This will be very clear to you and effortlessly clear. It will never reappear. This, I am the body mind. So this will not reappear again. Like the snake, when you know the rope, it will disappear. Like the dream, when you wake up, it will disappear. Actually disappear. You will have no problem at all. Second, what will continue? Like the blue sky, like the water in the mirage, the appearance of my water in the mirage, what will continue? What will continue is the appearance of the world, appearance of the body, appearance of the mind and the personality. You will never think I am that anymore. That identification will never come again. But the appearance of the body-mind universe will continue. Let that continue. You have no problem. Then it will remain as an appearance of the self, as a glory of yourself. You appear in all these amazing ways in this universe. So after that, life, as long as this appearance continues till the death of that particular body of the Jivan Mukta, it will be the life of an enlightened life, Jivan Mukti. Life of joy, fearlessness, love, selflessness, oneness with everybody, complete peace and freedom of anxiety from anxiety, and life will be a blessing to yourself and to everybody else.
So what you'll notice in that short clip, what is the definition of enlightenment through an Advaita Vedanta lens? Basically, the realized sage, the enlightened one, has completely lost identification with the body. The body still lives a life. The world still appears, as Swami Sarvapriyananda says. They've just lost identification with the body. But the body and world still appears as it used to. When you thought, I'm a person living a life, I'm this body, moving around this world, that was your experience. The enlightened have realized that's not the case. I'm the pure witness of this body. That gives you a sense of peace, freedom, oneness. And what is the consequence for you? What I just mentioned. A sense of peace, freedom, oneness, loss of suffering in the deeper sense. And what does this body that continues to live a life do for others? It's a blessing to them. It's in a state of service, humility, helping others. You're a benefit to all. And just quickly, that's the whole point of the Sri Ramakrishna mission that Swami Vivekananda is a monk of. Their motto is, why did they become a monk? For their own liberation, for their own ending of suffering, and for the welfare of the world. The Sri Ramakrishna mission, what do their monks do? They go out and serve the community. Education, healthcare, helping the community. If this is all a dream, all an illusion, if we're all dream characters, what are these dream character monks doing? Making this world a better place for us dream characters that are in ignorance, that aren't awakened. So for us trapped in ignorance, they're trying to spread the message of love, peace, unity, help the unfortunate. They also talk about the harmony of all religions. They're a unifying, peaceful, loving force, whether you think they're imagined or not. And where is Swami Sarvapriyananda getting these ideas of enlightenment? Let's go to 2 quotes from the Ashtavakra Gita and the Bhagavad Gita. Ashtavakra Gita, chapter 3, verse 10. You'll see it there. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. The great soul witnesses his body's actions like it was another's. How can praise or blame disturb him? You'll see it there. Basically, the enlightened witnesses their body like it's the body of someone else. How can praise or blame disturb him? They're in a state of peace. Chapter 3, verse 27 of the Bhagavad Gita. All activities are carried out by the three modes of material nature, but the soul, identified with the body, thinks of itself as the doer. Again, I'm paraphrasing, you'll see it there. Basically, that's what the enlightened are experiencing. They have lost identification with the body. That feeling of peace you find in deep sleep, why is deep sleep so peaceful? Because there's no ownership and control. But there's a problem with deep sleep. You're in a state of peace, but you're not aware. You're not conscious. When your eyes are open, what do the enlightened experience? That same feeling of peace in deep sleep, but they're aware of it now. Ownership and control has dissolved. The body still lives a life, but they're in a total state of peace and freedom. Whether the body lives one more day or 50 more years, it doesn't matter. And another thing I'll mention about enlightenment that the monks from the Sri Ramakrishna talk about, here's their whole thing about enlightenment. Here's what they say. If you think you're enlightened, it's better to feel enlightened and play dumb and say, look, I'm not enlightened. I don't know what you're talking about. It's better to say, I'm not enlightened, and keep the mind of a student. As opposed to the opposite, think you're enlightened and tell everyone you're enlightened. That can do a lot of damage. So the monks of the Sri Ramakrishna order, I really love this. They're very humble. They'll never tell you they're enlightened. You need to figure it out for yourself. They're never going to tell you. It's all about humility. Enlightenment is for you, not for anyone else. It's like those rich people, those really smart rich people that are very wealthy, but they act like a normal person. They don't want to attract attention to themselves. So that's another thing. Humility. The enlightened will never talk about it. Why? What are you trying to prove to anyone? They just present to you as just a regular person, a humble seeker, and they're looking out for your welfare. That's what they're doing. That's what the Sri Ramakrishna order is talking about. And as we're talking about the enlightened under traditional teachings, how do they act? Let's pull some verses from the Bhagavad Gita quickly and just talk about them. You'll see it here. Chapter 3, verse 20 and 21. I'll just go through some quick readings and then we'll have a quick discussion. By performing their prescribed duties, King Janak and others attained perfection. You should also perform your duties to set an example for the good of the world. Whatever actions great persons perform, common people follow. Whatever standards they set, the world pursues. Verse 22 and 23. There is no duty for me to do in all the three worlds, O part, nor do I have anything to gain or attain, yet I'm engaged in prescribed duties. Verse 23. For if I did not perfectly perform my prescribed duties, O part, all men would follow my paths in all respects. Just quickly, what's happening there? Why do the enlightened continue to act, even when they've lost identification with the body? Why does the body continue to act? To set an example for others. The beautiful thing about Hinduism is they understand the human mind so well. The people we look up to, we respect and we follow their lead. What is Krishna saying? He's saying, I have nothing to gain or retain by performing action. I'm in a state of peace, freedom, enlightenment. Krishna's saying that, as well as the enlightened. They have no reason to act. Why do we act in this world, by the way? For happiness. We do everything motivated by happiness. Happiness now or in the future. But the enlightened have found the true source of happiness. So why do they continue to act? Because we're looking up to them. If they're laying around going, there's no one here, nothing to do, stop doing all your work, we're going to go, oh, the enlightened are doing it. God is saying to do that, so let's do it. They're setting an example for us. Spiritual practice purifies the mind for true knowledge to shine. Spiritual practice dissolves ego so the true source of knowledge can shine. Your true self. And let me just read some more verses just quickly. Verse 25 and 26. As ignorant people perform their duties with attachment to the results, O scion of Bhat, so should the wise act without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. Verse 26. The wise should not create discord in the intellects of ignorant people who are attached to fruitive actions by inducing them to stop work. Rather, by performing their duties in an enlightened manner, they should inspire the ignorant to also do their prescribed duties. Again, what's Krishna saying? If you're enlightened, shut up about it. Just continue to live your life. Be very humble, don't talk about it, and don't disrupt others. That's where I feel Leo is going wrong. He's saying, I'm enlightened, yoga's nonsense, meditation's nonsense, all these spiritual practices are nonsense. You might as well give them up. What is Krishna saying? Don't do that. Stop disturbing people. To even have a faith in a God, if someone has a little bit of faith in a God and you trample that faith and say, what are you doing? That's stupid. You are disrupting their spiritual practice, because to believe in a God, any kind of belief in a God, you know what that is showing you in that person? They're willing to put their ego aside. Our ego is very arrogant. It's like a computer program. We're like a robot that is just fed thoughts about this world. We're just spitting out knowledge that we've learned from the world. And our ego is very proud of that knowledge that it didn't come up with. It was just inserted in the intellect. So to have even a little bit of a faith in a God, that is showing you that person is saying, look, I'm willing to humble myself. Maybe I don't know it all. But to trample that progress and say, give it up. Stop having faith. Stop meditating. It's ridiculous. You're destroying their spiritual progress. Spirituality is like a very delicate tree you plant, and then you've got to put a fence around it. Because if you don't, all the goats and the cows can trample over it, eat the tree, and it's destroyed. But when you put a fence around that spiritual practice, let it grow, it's going to eventually grow into a strong tree that those cows and goats that once could nibble on the tree or trample over it, you could tie the cow or goat to the tree. So when people have a little bit of faith, doing a little bit of spiritual practice, don't disturb them. Don't create discord in their intellect. Also, Leo was struggling with how he should teach going forward. He said, how do I teach this higher knowledge? What should I be telling people? Then he tells people, don't do spiritual practice. Here's what you need to do, Leo. I know you're not going to see this, but if you ever see this, how should you teach going forward? Stop telling people to stop doing spiritual practice. You got to meet them where they're at. The practices of meditation, devotion, karma yoga makes the mind selfless, makes the mind still. It sets the stage, it sets the groundwork for the true self to be realized. If this is the true self and this is the ego, how do we get rid of this ego? We get rid of it by dissolving it into the true self. And how does that dissolving happen? Meditation, devotion, service, surrender. Think of your true self like warm water and your ego like an ice block. What is spiritual practice doing? Keeping the ice block in the water so it can eventually dissolve. Spiritual practice dissolves ego and then the truth can shine. So that's all I'm saying, or more correctly, that's all these traditional teachings are saying. And now I want to end this video with why Advaita Vedanta is the ultimate truth. The person that sent me this email is saying, Advaita Vedanta is saying they're the ultimate truth, but Leo says he's transcended all teachings. I'll show you why Advaita Vedanta is the ultimate truth. But quickly, let's go back to that initial part of the email. Right down the bottom, they said this to me. You said in one of your videos, we can't know our source, but Advaita Vedanta says that you can know and realize the source. Is it paradoxical? You can realize and know the ultimate reality, but you can't know it at the same time. Let's clear up that paradox. Why did I say, and actually traditional teachings say this, I'm not coming up with this out of thin air, you can't know your source. Who or what can't know its source? Ego. And why is that? How do we know anything? We need an instrument of knowledge. We need to be able to see something, hear it, taste it, feel it, smell it, or think about it. We need an instrument of knowledge to know anything. So why can't we know our source? Let's quickly do self-inquiry. Do you know the world? Are you aware of the world? Yes. You can see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, smell it, think about it. What about the body? Do you know the body? Yes. Again, you can see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, smell it, think about it. What about your breath? Do you know your breath? Yes. How? I can feel my breath, smell my breath, hear my breath. Subtler still, feelings. Do you know your feelings? Yes. How? I feel my feelings, I can think about my feelings. What about your thoughts? How do you know your thoughts? You can think about your thoughts. You can apply introspection. You can think about your thoughts. That's how you know them. What's subtler than thinking? Consciousness, the knowing of your own being. But how do you know you exist? How do you know you're conscious? You can't see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, smell it, or think about it. All of those senses need consciousness behind them to enable them to function. To know anything needs an object of knowledge, an instrument of knowledge, and the consciousness to make it all possible. I see my hand, that's an object. How do I know my hand? Through my eyes. I need eyes to know my hand through the act of seeing. But what is the essential ingredient to this whole process? Consciousness. If I strip away consciousness, what hand, what eyes? Consciousness illuminates my eyes to know my hand. So you can't know your source. You can't know consciousness because you are consciousness. But simultaneously, you can know it. How do you know it? You know it by being it. Knowing you're conscious is the most obvious, truest thing in your experience. But you can't know it objectively through the senses. This reminds me of a story of Nisargadatta Maharaj. One of his devotees came up to him and said, Nisargadatta, you are a knower of Brahman. The devotee is very humble. He's saying, you're a knower of Brahman. Nisargadatta ends up snapping at him, saying, how dare you insult me? I'm not a knower of Brahman. I am Brahman. That's what he's talking about. To say you know Brahman, the ultimate reality, is to limit Brahman, to give it objective qualities. You can't know it with objects of the senses. You can only be it. You know it by realizing you can't know it. It'll be like this. It will be like a wave in the ocean saying, I want to know water. A wave cannot know water because it's made from water. Or it would be like the sun. The sun is heat and light. That's its intrinsic nature, heat and light. The sun saying, I want to experience heat and light. It can't. The sun can't shine on itself. The sun illuminates this world, but it can't illuminate itself. It can't shine the light on itself to know itself. The sun cannot know heat and light. The sun cannot burn itself because it's heat itself, if you get where I'm going with that. So that's why it's paradoxical. You can't know your true self with an instrument of knowledge, but you're more than known. Consciousness is self-revealing, self-luminous. And why is Advaita Vedanta the ultimate truth? Higher than the truth of Leo Gura. Because picture it like this. Picture your true self like a movie screen, a screen. And picture this reality like a movie. Whatever happens in this movie, no matter how boring, no matter how mundane the experience, or how magical, mystical, amazing, the God experience. I'm consciously creating reality. I'm awake, you're not. Whatever Leo Gura is experiencing. What is Advaita Vedanta saying? Cool experience and all, but were you aware of that mundane experience of just being a regular person? Yes. Were you then aware of this amazing experience of God consciousness? Knowing how you're consciously creating reality, you're awake, no one's awake, there's only you, you're the only entity in existence. Did you have that experience? Yes. Advaita Vedanta says, well, you are prior to all this experience. You are that which knew the average experience of just being a regular person. You are also the one that had this mind-blowing, mystical, I'm God consciousness experience. You're also the one that comes back to just feeling like a regular person. What Advaita Vedanta is saying, the fabric of reality is consciousness. Or in this example, the fabric of the movie is the screen. Whatever happens on the screen cannot exceed the screen. So what is Advaita Vedanta saying? How does it transcend all knowledge? You're the screen. Whatever happens on the screen has nothing to do with you. And what does spiritual practice do? Spiritual knowledge of Advaita Vedanta points you to that fact. You're the screen. You might say, why do spiritual practice then? Because just hearing you're the screen isn't enough. You're going to go, cool, I'm the screen. Then you're going to get caught up in the movie again. What is spiritual practice doing? Meditation, devotion, service, surrender. Keeping that knowledge, I'm the screen, in this example, firmly anchored in the intellect. And eventually, these feelings of I'm a movie character in the movie dissolves. and then you're effortlessly just a screen. So you need to dissolve into this realization. Many people in Neo-Advaita will say this: all spiritual practice reinforces ego. Who is the one doing karma yoga? Who is the one meditating? They think it reinforces ego. If you don't know this high knowledge of the true self, yes, it can reinforce ego, but once you've realized the true self, that you are the screen, to get this character that you think you are dissolved into the screen requires spiritual practice. This spiritual knowledge is just pointing to something that was always a fact. You intellectually realize this was always a fact. But to realize that fact as a truth in your direct experience needs a spiritual practice. So to end this video, thank you so much for that back and forth discussion. I don't want to constantly be talking about Leo, but all these comments and emails have led me to do that. And look, Leo Gura has helped many people in different aspects of life. Many people have told me this, and I'll give that to him. I've got nothing against him. But this teachings of solipsism, and that he's God, he's awake, you're not awake, all spiritual teachings are rubbish, that's damaging people. Seriously. And he's wrestling with how to teach. Don't reinvent the wheel. The Bhagavad Gita tells everything we need to know. Don't disturb people. Whatever realization you've had, good for you. Be humble about it. Don't tell anyone that you're enlightened. Act like the regular person. Keep doing spiritual practice. Why? To inspire others. The way to change people and reality is to be a loving, kind, patient person, to be compassionate, to meet people where they're at and lift them up, slowly, slowly. That's how you do it in a healthy way. Not by saying, I've realized the ultimate, even if you think you have, you're wrong. Anyone that disagrees with me is wrong. That's not the way. That's why people listen to this, think they know it, and don't do spiritual practice, or hear it and they freak out and want to end the show early. This is not healthy. This isn't the way. But again, many other things he talks about, I'm sure he's helping a lot of people. So that's all I'm saying. You don't need to believe these teachings of solipsism. They're a belief. Your true self is prior to all belief. Yet the fabric all belief is made from. I'll leave it at that before I start rambling. Thanks for the question. Hope this video helped. Take care.